everyone. My name is Ayantika Sen. I'm a graduate student at Oklahoma State University. The topic of my research is the role of innate immune system in modulating urinary tract infection outcome in humans. So, urinary tract infections are basically infections caused by any kind of microorganisms in the urinary tract. If it affects the bladder, we call it cystitis, and as it proceeds to the kidney, we call it pyelonephritis. Now, urinary tract infection imposes a lot of economic burden on the human population, and it affects mostly women because of the difference of the anatomical structure of the urethra between males and females. But among women, postmenopausal women and pregnant women who have high levels of a hormone called estrogen in their body are more susceptible to UTI. And right now, the scope of my research is to look at how or why postmenopausal women are more susceptible to urinary tract infections, and whether the innate immune system, and specifically certain receptors present on cells that receive estrogen, these are called estrogen receptors. So I'm trying to see if these estrogen receptors play a role in modulating or in affecting the urinary tract infection outcome. So I'm doing certain experiments on mice by injecting them with a drug that is called ER-alpha antagonist. Antagonists are basically drugs that block the activity of a certain receptor, which in my case is called the estrogen receptor alpha. And then I'm also injecting my animals with another drug called the agonist, which activates or enhances the activity of estrogen receptor alpha. So I'm injecting these mice with these drugs, and then after a certain period of injection, we are infecting our mice with E. coli, which is a particular strain of bacteria, and we are inducing UTI or urinary tract infection in these mice. And then after a certain period of time, we sacrifice these mice and try to look at the difference in the expression levels of certain immune molecules in their bladder and kidney. And we are also trying to see if any of these drugs helped in reducing the infection in bladder and kidney of these mice. And the study is not complete yet, but till the point that I've reached so far, our results have been very interesting, because we have found very conflicting results between the different parts of the urinary tract, and which kind of tells us that if we had to treat UTI in postmenopausal women who lacked estrogen, we could activate the activity of estrogen receptors in the absence of estrogen, and by doing so reduce the bacterial infection in the bladder and kidney of these patients. Now, right now, the most common form of treating UTI is by administering antibiotics, but due to an increase in the number of multi-drug resistant bacterial strains, some antibiotics are eventually becoming very ineffective, and therefore our aim through this study, or our long-term aim through this study, is to see if we can target certain immune pathways or certain proteins in the host or in our bodies, which which can be externally activated by drugs, and which whether they can boost the immune system to fight back infection in a natural way rather than giving antibiotics, which which bacteria tend to become very resistant, and soon it's time to get rid of that type of bacteria, and then of that antibiotic, and then you need to look for new drugs. So the basic thought process behind this research is to find whether we can find an alternative method of boosting the immune system and fighting back infection more naturally, rather than supporting the immune system with drugs that can affect infection directly. That was all about my research, and thank you for listening to my video. I will very happily accept any kind of feedback or suggestion that I could use to improve my talk in future. Thank you.